Hello, wellness warriors. I hope you are having a beautiful day. So, today is a very special day for me because it's May the 6th. And you must be like, what does that mean? So, it means two things. It means that my little baby boy is 4 months. And it means that exactly 1 year ago, I found out I was pregnant. So, as many of you know, I struggled with secondary unexplained infertility. The first time that I got pregnant, it was super quick. It was like literally on our first try. There was no problem getting pregnant. But of course, there's always bumps in the road for some of us. Not everybody, because some people have it smooth. But it was hard because we experienced a bumpy first trimester, and there were so many times where I didn't know if the baby was gonna make it, and praise God he did. And now I have my Lucas, who is 4 years old, and he's amazing. And then when we decided we wanted to get pregnant the second time, it just wouldn't happen, and it was a very exhausting battle. And it felt super long. It was over a year, and we struggled so much. It was almost a year and a half, and I feel bad when I say that, because there are people who go through it for much longer. But I also tell women that they cannot compare their journeys, because everybody suffers. And it doesn't matter if it was, a year or if it was 5. Like, the fact that you still had that pain should be validated. And it was very hurtful to go through that. It was, I think, that was one of the most challenging journeys of my life. It's very lonely, and I got lucky because I have really great friends who were supportive. And I also had, I went to a support group and I met wonderful, wonderful women. But people can be very, very hurtful. They say things like, well, at least you already have a child. They say things, well, it'll happen eventually, just relax. And none of those things are helpful, by the way. Please don't say that to people, like, ever. It was very stressful. The beginning, it's like, well, it's been a month, it's been 2, it's been 3, it's been 4. And then by like the 5th month, you kind of start going like, okay, what's happening? And then I remember by 6 months, I was already like just really freaking out, because it had already been half a year and we didn't understand what was happening. They ran tests about, like, when we were like 8 months in, and then again a year, and all these different things. They checked both of us. And so when there's no explanation, it's just like, okay, so like, what is going on, right? Because you don't know like, how do you know how to fix something that you don't know what's wrong, right? And it takes a toll on everything and every part of your life. I was super depressed. Every time I got my period, I mean, I would bawl my eyes out. It was devastating to go through it. Every time that I took a pregnancy test, because sometimes your body likes to pay, like, it plays tricks on you when you're going through infertility. And so you like are a day late, and you're like, oh, and so you go get the pregnancy test because you're a day late, and then, oh, you're not pregnant, and then the next day you get your period. I remember one time I was 12 days late. And people kept like saying, well, maybe like it doesn't come up in the test. Like, oh, maybe it'll come later. And you keep thinking, right? And your hopes are so up. And 12 days later, I just got it. And I think I took like 5 pregnancy tests that time. And then there's a moment in your life where you're like, not just like desperate, but you're frustrated and you're tired and you're mad and you're just, I don't know how many times I questioned God. I was so mad and just so angry, and I felt so alone. And it was affecting all the parts of my life. And as you all know, I'm a therapist. And so of course I was like, I need to go to therapy. I need to like talk to my therapist about this. I would talk to my friends. I was very vocal with my close circle about it. And then eventually I just became very vocal about it. Um, exactly about a year ago, it was like April 20 something. I was already pregnant, but I didn't know. And I made my first video about infertility, sharing my journey. And um, I mean, I couldn't share everything because, you know, in 10 minutes you can't. But it was, it is to this day sometimes, like you think about it and it, you know, it makes me sad. And I think about the way it affected our marriage and like the struggles we went through. And it definitely did bring us closer. But we also had really rough moments, like really rough moments between us, and just really heavy moments. And of course, people are like, well, the best part is trying, said someone that's never been through infertility, because let me tell you, that is not true. Maybe the first couple months, but after a while, when you start timing it and you're like, oh, this is where I'm ovulating. I know this was we need to do it because doctors are like, okay, you do it on this days and that days. And when let's do this. And it became frustrating and it became tiring. And there's moments where you are just not in the mood. You're exhausted. You've had a long day. You know, like we had Lucas, I don't know, he was 2, 3. And we were just done, and he's a nurse and he came home from work and it was like today, you know, because we'll miss our window. And that affects a marriage for sure. And so infertility affects emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally. I mean, it's draining, it's exhausting. I would have moments where I remember like holidays, we would get together and more holidays will pass and I still wasn't pregnant. And then you would, I would log on into Facebook and boom, this person's pregnant, boom, this person's gender reveal. And every week it was like, I'm pregnant, gender reveal, I had a baby shower, because I'm in that age where everybody's having babies, right? And so all the time it just kept like piling up. So nowhere, I could not escape it anywhere I went, whether it was social media, whether it was close friends, whether it was family members would call and tell me about like, hey, I'm pregnant, and you're keeping this inside and you're not really sharing what's going on. And then they ask like, when are you going to have a second kid? And so I always ask people, like, please be sensitive. Don't ask that to people. Like, oh, unless these are like, it's your best friend and like you know what's going on, but you never know who's going through infertility. People had no idea I was going through it, and they would say like, oh, like Lucas would love a little sibling, and I would go home distraught and I would just cry my eyes out. I mean, or I was in school and I volunteer at his school, and I was putting papers that the kiddos did together, and everybody was like, you know, like mom, dad, and I don't know, Caleb and little brother or little sister. And I got to us and it was just mom, dad, and Lucas. And I remember bawling my eyes out as I was doing it. I mean, it was just awful. And I would go home and I would tell my husband, I'm broken. There's something wrong. Because then, you know, of course, we did his semen test and everything was fine. Like, they were like, oh, his count is great. Like, he has like more than the average. And like, everything was good. And I was like, oh, it's totally me, you know? And so it was just awful. And I had given up, like, just, I remember I felt so hopeless. And I had a treatment done last year where they opened up my tubes and they cleared them and they were like, everything looks good. And I kept thinking, well, if everything looks good, then I mean, you know, I'm never going to get pregnant. Like, what's wrong, right? And I had heard other women had gone through that, and most of them hadn't gotten pregnant after that, but some women had. And so I had a really close friend who went through infertility, and she was like, this is how I got pregnant after several miscarriages. You should try it. And I was like, I don't know, like, I don't want to get my hopes up. So I did, and I tried it. And then I remember weeks passed and I felt like my period was coming, and I was like, legit not in a good place. And I called my mom and I was like, could you give me an Ativan? Like, I'm really sad. I'm really depressed. I'm really anxious. Like, I'm not in a good place. I was like, I want to be able to be calm. I had gotten out of work and go home and go to sleep. And she said, are you sure you're not pregnant? And I said, yeah, I have all my symptoms. And this is May 6, 2019, so exactly a year ago. And I'm getting off of work at 8:30, and the dollar store closes at 9. And she says, I'll give you the Ativan. She's like, but just make sure you're not pregnant. Please go get a pregnancy test, and I'll give you the Ativan so you can have a good night's sleep and like rest and like calm your anxiety. Because I was like in legit the worst place, because I was hopeless. I was done. I was just so devastated. And I got to the dollar store at like 8:50. So 10 minutes before they closed. I got the pregnancy test. I went home and I told my husband, okay, I'm going to take it. And then I'm going to like take the Ativan. And he was like, okay. So I was like, I'm going to take it to prove to you guys that I'm not pregnant. Like I'm super like PMSing, whatnot. And so then I beat on it, and then I'm like washing my hands, and I look and I see 2 lines. And I look again and I'm like, no stinking way. I grab it, I come out, and I'm shaking, and I'm just like, I'm looking at my husband like, oh my gosh. And he's like, he's like, no. And excuse the language, but he literally goes, no fucking way. And I'm like, yeah. And so it was just like one of those moments. And weeks before that, I had gotten this little sweater for him or her. Well, I was thinking it was going to be a girl. And I got this little sweater. And so he got to wear it the other day. He looks super cute in it. A couple of days later, after we found out, we took this picture. We took a picture with this. I am proof that God answers prayers. And we were all praying around the little onesie. And he got to wear it the other day. And he's here and he's perfect. I know that many of you knew that I really wanted a girl. But gosh, like, I am so in love with him. And they're both my miracle babies. You know, Leon is just that like baby I hoped for and prayed for, and like, I mean, I just waited for. And so many tears were dropped, and I don't know how many pregnancy tests I took and how many ovulation tests I took, but he's here. He made it, and I really couldn't be happier. And I hope that this is a message of hope. I don't know what you're going through right now when it comes to infertility, but I know that I have close people fighting it still. And it breaks my heart for them because I know the feeling. And then I also know women who have fought it for years, you know, like 10 years even, 5 years, and who are in their 40s and are now pregnant. And some of them have delivered already their babies. Some of them are due this month. And so I'm trying to offer hope. And I know that everybody's story is different. And I don't know how your story is going to end. I wish that I could tell you that your story is going to end the way you want it. But I don't know that. I do know that it's very worth it how you fight for this dream you have, this miracle you're waiting for. And I look back at all the tears and all the work and all the exhaustion and the prices paid, because there were some, you know, everything has a price. And I look at my son and everything was worth it. Every little single thing. And I just wanted to share that with you all. So wherever you're at, I send strength and I send hope. Please go to a support group. It made all the difference. Please talk about it. There should be no shame in infertility. So many women go through it. So many couples, 1 in 8. 1 in 8. And I think in the US is 1 in 7, if I'm not mistaken. 1 in 8 is worldwide. You're not alone. And sharing that, gosh, it really does make it, it allows you to breathe a little lighter. And so share it with the people you love. And not everybody should hear your story. Not everybody's allowed to do that because they will make hurtful comments. And I got to a point where I would say that's very hurtful. And so that's why I try to do education about it, because it can be very insensitive what people say and they don't even mean it, but damn, it hurts like a mother. Thank you for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Get support. Don't have shame in it. Don't be embarrassed. It is a lonely journey. It is a painful one, but gosh, you're not the only one. And many people are going through it, and they're suffering. And so together we can help heal and make it a little bit easier. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you have a good rest of your day. Bye.